Hi, good morning everyone. Let's get started with our next topic where we'll talk about the file system. And in the file system, we'll be focusing mainly on the file types. So, in the file types, if you see the file types, there are actually 7 different types of file in Linux. So, first thing is the regular file. So, let's look at what is a regular file. Regular file. Okay, so let's see how we can find out whether a file is a regular file or not. Okay, so let's get into the system straight away. And in the system, you can see, let's say that these are the files that is there. And in this particular character, the first letter, it tells about the type of the file. Okay, so this is the letter, and if you just you can see this is a directory. Okay, if you go to this folder, you can see that this is a directory. Okay, let's say if you go to this folder, you can see this type. This is a symbolic link. Okay, so the first letter that you are seeing here, this is a directory here, D, starting with D. Okay, this is a symbolic link starting with L. Okay, and if you go to this folder, say let's say I go to this folder. Okay, so you can see this is a regular file. This means that it is a file starting with dash. Okay, this is your symbolic link. This is a directory. So just focus on first character here, and that character tells what it is. Okay, so based on the first character, you can tell whether it is a regular file, it is a directory. And let's go to this folder called /dev. Okay, can you see here some different thing that is C, starting with C, that is a character. Okay, so this is a character device file. And let's look at something which is not starting with C, that is character file. You can see there is something called starting with B, the block device file. Okay, so you can see the different file types here. Okay, so let's look at the other ones, which is starting with S. You can see that this file name is starting with S. So S in this stand for socket, that is local domain socket. Then there is one more file type, if you note, which is starting with P, which means it's a named pipe. Okay, so just to recap what we have seen, what all the file types we have seen a regular file. Okay, so how do we identify it is a regular file? You'll find starting with dash. Okay, second thing is the directory. So this is the second file type, which is directory. Take note that directory is also a file type, and you will find it starting with letter D. Okay, then the next one that we have seen is the symbolic link. Okay, symbolic link means starting with L. Okay, so this is the third file type that we have seen. Now the next one is that we have seen is a character device file. So you will find them under the device folder, and they are starting with letter C, character files. Okay, then we have seen block device file. Okay, starting with letter B. Okay, then there are other file types that we have seen is the socket. Okay, so the socket file type starting with letter S. Okay, and there is one more file types that we have seen here is starting with letter P, that is a pipe. Okay, so we will be using them in our training. So this is our number 7, that is pipe. So this means starting with letter P. So these are the file types that we have seen, and you can see device files. So these two that we have seen, these two are the device files. This is your socket and pipe. Okay, then this is your link, symbolic link, directory and file. So now let's see how we can create and delete these file types. So directory, how do we create a directory? We can create a directory using the command called mkdir. And how we remove a directory? We can remove it using rmdir. Okay, how do we create a file? So we can use a vi editor, we can use any other editor. Okay, or we can create using copy command also, and to delete a file we just use rm command. Then the symbolic link. So the links, how do we create a link? We create a link using ln-s command. Okay, and we delete like any other normal file, rm and then the name of the link. Okay, then for the block and the character files, we use the command called mknode. Okay, and deletion for all of them is rm only, except for the directory. Then for the socket and pipe, for socket we use the command called socket, and for pipe we use mknode. Okay, so this is how we create these file types. Okay, so let's go back here one more time. If you see, let's go to this folder called /tmp folder, and if you see a file type, this is your directory starting with D. And if you create a file, let's say I want to create a file called using vi test. Okay, go to the insert mode, type something and just save it. And if you do ls-l test, you can see there is a file created. Okay, and to remove the files, the command is rm test. So this is how we create a file. Now in this case, if you see, I use the command called rm. Okay, now let's create one more file called, say, test file again, and if you just do ls minus l test, this has read write permission. Okay, if I just make the permission as just read permission. Okay, and now if I try to delete this file, you can see I can delete using rm command. Okay, there is one more option in rm, which is rm minus I. Okay, so let's create this test file one more time, and if I type rm minus I test, you can see that it is prompting that do you want to remove it, that is, it is asking for confirmation, and if you press yes, then only it gets removed. So this is one of the variant for interactiveness. Okay, so let's look at the regular files first. So in the regular file, so first file that we have seen is a regular file. Regular file, we can call it as a normal file or just file. And if you see this normal file, it could be a text file like an ASCII file. It could be a executable, that is any executable. It could be a library, so it could be a library file. Okay, so these all fall under regular file. So for a regular file, you can have a sequential access, that is, you can access them in a sequential manner, or you can access in a random manner also. Okay, so that is on the regular file. The second file type that we have seen is a directory. So before we get into directory, I want to show you one of the very important special regular file. So here you can see, if I just type ls minus l, okay, and if I just scroll up a little bit, so for any file, any directory that you see, okay, so if you see any directory, any folder, you will find these two files. So which are these two files? Dot and dot dot. So these are two important files. So dot refers to the current folder. Dot dot refers to the parent folder, parent directory. So any file you take it, you will find these two files. Okay, so that's why if you can use this command cd dot. So if you do pw, means it's current folder. You type cd dot dot like this or like this, so you can see that it takes you one step to the root folder. So that is one very important thing to take note of, that is dot and dot dot. Okay, next thing is about the directories. So if you see directories under slash, you can see that these directories are to organize the files. Okay, so under directories, like at the root file system, you can have these subdirectories or files in an organized manner, and it can be in the hierarchical file system. Okay, so that is about the normal or the regular files and directories. Next thing is about the links. Okay, so in the links, there are actually two types of link. One is called the soft link or symbolic link, and another is called the hard link. Okay, so where we can find these symbolic links, so let me show you that information. Okay, so symbolic links, you will see them in mainly in the say lib folder. So if we go to this folder, you can see these are symbolic links. Okay, so these are the symbolic links. Hard links, so two types of symbolic links, hard links and okay, so next file types directory we have seen. Okay, in that dot and dot dot file types we have seen. Then next type that we are talking right now is on the links. So in the links, two types, hard links and symbolic links. So symbolic links we also call it as soft links. Okay, so how do we find out which is a soft link, which is a hard link, why we use them? Okay, so let's look at this. This is your link. Okay, so hard links, they are actually secondary file names for files on the disk. So multiple file names may be referring to a single inode. So for hard link, take note of one thing, that they should remain in the same file system. Okay, next is on the symbolic link. So symbolic link, they refer to other files on the disk, and the reference file can exist in the same file system or in another file system. So just take note of the two differences between the hard link and the symbolic link. Okay, then let's look at another device file type which we have seen is about the character and block files. So these character files and the block files, they are the device files. Okay, character and block file types. So these two go together because both are the device file types. So as we have seen that if we go to a device folder, so where is the device folder, you can see that under slash, if you do ls, you have all these devices are present in this folder. So this is your device folder, and if you do ll, and you will find all the device types listed here. Okay, so device file, actually these device files let programs communicate with system hardware, peripherals. Okay, so any hardware you take it, it will be represented by a device file, except network cards, which are actually just the interfaces. So these files are the link between hardware devices and the kernel drivers. Okay, device files actually are created automatically by the OS. when the device is discovered by the kernel. And let's look at a little bit more about the device type, and let's look at something that we have covered, which is on these links. So we have not yet seen how do we create a hard link and how do we create a symbolic link. Okay, so that is one topic. Let's cover that in our next training topic. Thank you for joining me and have a nice day. Bye bye.